I've got a confession to make. Yes, I have not played Mass Effect 3. But Mass Effect 1 and 2, some of my favorite RPGs of all time. I absolutely love Mass Effect 2. One of my favorite games of all time, actually. But, you know, maybe someday soon, I will do a Mass Effect trilogy playthrough on my gameplay channel. Link down there in the description. But I had Mass Effect on the brain. You know, so I decided, hey, you know what? Let's react to some Mass Effect lore. The Mass Effect's First Contact War. From WiseFish. Alright, let's go! Is that the Normandy?
During the events of Mass Effect, humanity proved themselves to be a fierce and noble species as they teamed up with countless different races throughout the Milky Way galaxy to hit back at corrupt agents, exploitative forces, slavers, as well as one of the biggest threats within the galaxy, the Reapers. During their journey, Alliance...
Dude, how does this game look a million times better than Outer Worlds 2 that's coming out pretty soon? Like, come on, man. Come on. This is Mass Effect 1 and 2.
Were formed, friends were made, and the Citadel was a beaming light into what civilization would look like if
How old is Mass Effect 1 and 2? The vibes are just so much better.
They all teamed up to fight a common foe. Races from all different walks of life, all different appearances, and all different beliefs came together here to discuss politics, as well as trade, socialize, and plan war efforts.
Yeah, imagine a world of politics in space. And it didn't have to have some kind of weird activism attached to it that is attached to modern day and the modern audience.
The galaxy came together as one unifying force, kind of like a space UN, ultimately fighting for their survival. But things weren't always like this, and still to this date, all of the races of the Citadel do not favour one another. Humanity, for example, was one of the main races that did not go down well when they first appeared on the scene, and led to some races absolutely despising them, never trusting their ultimate goals. Throughout the beginning...
Well, you know, I probably wouldn't trust humans either.
Of humanity's travel into the wider galaxy, they would go on to encounter the Turian forces, a deadly warrior race that would take offense to their presence and kick off what was known as humanity's First Contact War. So in this video, I want to look back at the origins of humanity and their journey into the far-reaching systems, what caused them to get...
Dude, we do not know how to stay out of war. Yeah, it was probably a bad thing for everybody else that humans entered the war, or entered the intergalactic alliance, whatever it is. But you know what? I'm Team Human. Fuck them all.
Involved within this war, and what was the eventual outcome of this war. This is the story of humanity's First Contact War.
So good, man. So good. Yeah, I'm really wanting to play the Mass Effect trilogy. I have it. I have the Legendary Edition. I totally could play it. But I want to play it on my channel. That's probably the next time I play it. It's gonna take me so long. It's gonna be so many episodes. Oh, that music.
It is the 22nd century, 2148 to be precise, and humanity isn't far off what it is today. Science is reaching new limits, new technology is pushing our race forward, and space travel is still high on our list of goals. After being able to create a rocket powerful enough to send astronauts all the way to Mars and back, humanity launched their first mission to step foot on the Red Planet. Here they discovered an ancient civilization's ruins, one that would be labeled...
Yeah, aren't you on Mars at the beginning of Mass Effect 3?
As the Protheans. Within these ruins, humanity discovered some ancient writings that detailed a device out near Pluto. Unable to fully decipher what this device was, humanity returned to Earth and started planning their journey to Pluto to discover whatever the Protheans were talking about. In 2149, humanity ventured into the stars again and made their way to Pluto. It was here where they made a huge discovery. For years, humanity had believed that Pluto was orbited by the moon.
I didn't even know the lore went this deep. I had no idea. I never read any of the logs or any of the books or anything.
Known as Charon. However, getting closer to Pluto itself with the knowledge of supposed Prothean technology out there in the Sol system, humanity came to realize that Charon wasn't a moon at all. It was in fact an enormous piece of ancient technology which was known as a mass relay.
Oh yeah, I heard a little bit about this
discovery and this incredible piece of technology that would completely change the...
I think somebody talks about it in Mass Effect, and that's how I got that lore.
course of human history, humanity was wary of what it led to and what its purpose was. Here they sent through a few probes to see what was on the other side of the Charon relay. However, after sending these probes through, humanity quickly lost all contact with them, and there was still no way for them to see what was on the other side. Realizing that the probes just weren't cut out for this task, the scientists realized the only way to truly know what was going on the other side of the relay was to send through a team of brave men and women, risking their lives to see what the Charon relay was leading to. Eventually a team was set up, led by the incredibly brave John Grissom, and their journey into the mass relay had begun. The team went through expecting the worst, but their journey was a success. They had reached the Arcturus system, a system comprising 3 unique planets, an asteroid belt, as well as a type K1.5 red giant star. The team had safely made it through and had travelled 36 light years from Earth, one of the largest technological jumps.
Dude, the galactic map music that's playing right now is incredible. I fucking love it.
Humanity had ever made. With this discovery, Grissom and his team ventured back through the nearest mass relay within the Arcturus system and headed back to humanity to tell them of this discovery. Humanity had officially discovered the means of faster than light travel. They were able to see what else was out there in this wide, expansive universe and could possibly find planets in which they could inhabit.
I can't believe they fucked everything up so bad in Andromeda. Like, man, they had something going with this. They could have made a whole universe.
Venture into the depths of the unknown through this ancient, mysterious piece of technology, John Grissom became the face of the system's alliance. Humanity could now thrive with this brand new technology and could embrace intergalactic travel. They had,
like, Mass Effect 1 and 2 and 3. Star Wars could only dream of having games like those.
Officially entered a new age of unparalleled travel.
Man, I really want Mass Effect 4 to be good. I doubt it, though. BioWare doesn't have a good track record.
Now humanity was able to travel to different parts of the Milky Way galaxy with ease, utilizing this, what was believed to be Prothean technology. Humanity started discovering habitable planets in each of the systems and began setting up small colonies on each planet. In fact, humanity did not stop colonizing planets and would go on to take over them as soon as they realized they were habitable. But this caused a problem.
How we do.
What humanity didn't seem
humans
to realize was their mass expansion was drawing the attention of other species. Humanity, however, had no idea that there were in fact other races out within the Milky Way system. That, or they just chose to ignore their presence and continued to colonize every planet they came across.
Yeah, there's no way that humans ignored that there was aliens out there. Well, I think we were just too dumb to notice.
At first, nothing was done about humanity's continual taking of planets, as most of them were closer to the Sol system. However, as humanity continued further into the Milky Way utilizing the relays,
they didn't realize how viral we are. Humanity really is a virus, man.
Discover an inactive relay named Relay 314. However, this relay was different and was heavily protected. You see, Relay 314 was one of the keystones of a huge war that the other races within the Citadel had been involved with, way before humanity had even discovered the Charon relay. This war was called the Rachni Wars. During this event, a few Citadel Council explorers were to open this relay and travel into an unexplored area of the system. Unknowing of what was there, they would discover the species known.
Like, even all the backstory that they have could make for a good game, man. Like, the whatever he just said, wars, that could be a game itself. That just be like the premise of the end of it, is like an all-out battle against bugs.
As the Rachni, a hive mind race of bug-like creatures who were far more intellectual than your regular bugs. The Solarian team who ventured through to this system were immediately captured by this race and were experimented on, which helped the Rachni to discover Element Zero, which they would then go on to reverse engineer faster than light drives to their starships. With this new technology, the Rachni would then venture back into sea space and attack all the races they encountered. The Citadel tried to negotiate with the Rachni, but could never get any real contact back from their queens, who were still on their homeworld protected by the rest of the Rachni. The Rachni almost destroyed the races of the Citadel as their numbers were way too vast, and their hive mind allowed them to be thrown into...
Man, I don't think we're gonna get another game like Mass Effect 1 and 2 and 3. I keep saying 3 with the head cock because I didn't play it. But it's still... I know it's good. A lot of people have told me I need to play it, and I know I need to play it.
to fire without care for their overall survival. It wasn't until the Solarians quote-unquote helped the race known as the Krogans escape from their hostile planet, and would in turn ask them for help with their war with the Rachni. Eventually the Krogans were able to defeat the Rachni queens within their lairs, and the Citadel's military was able to take back sea space once again. The Rachni were labelled as extinct, however that was never truly confirmed, and the Citadel decided to seal off that part of the system and keep a listening post.
I forgot that this whole Arachni war thing actually was a thing. Rachni, not Arachni. Damn, like that was in Mass Effect 1, wasn't it? That was a whole, like, part of the plot. It wasn't the whole plot, was it? I don't even remember. See, it's been so long, I need to replay it.
Near their planet to make sure the Rachni didn't strike them back. The Citadel then made a law stating that any inactive mass relays could not be reactivated, for if they were, it could lead to another Rachni war. But next time, they may not be as lucky. Returning back to humanity's travel through the new...
Maybe you could have been more powerful if you actually would not be such pussies and move forward.
Systems, a group of colonies discovered the inactive Relay 314, unaware of the Rachni War, and tried to activate it once again. However, this would not sit well with the Turian race, who were patrolling the system. Immediately, the Turian commander opened fire on all of the human ships, trying to activate the relay, destroying all but one ship. Humanity instantly saw this as an act of war, but were thrown completely off guard at the fact that this was their first encounter with another species.
That's like the equivalent to, don't touch our boats!
Believing the enemy race to be the ancient Protheans, humanity hit back immediately, sending forward all their available warships towards the Turian patrol area. They were so fast to hit back, in fact, that
it's humanity or nothing.
Word had not even travelled back to the Arcturus station about this monumental yet not ideal discovery. Whilst the Turian forces were investigating the debris of the ships they had just destroyed, they were unexpectedly attacked by humanity's counter forces. And because of how quick the humans were in their retaliation, all of the Turian patrol ships were quickly destroyed. Humanity now was officially at war once again, but this time against a foe they had only just met and had no idea of who they really were. Believing them to be the ancient race who helped guide them to discovering...
Well, they shouldn't have fucked with us. They shouldn't have been in the way.
The mass relays in the first place. But this first encounter would have extremely negative views for humanity going forward. As the war was in its infancy, the Turian hierarchy commanders saw this attack on their police force as one of the biggest crimes and continued to pursue a military response to prevent further alien attacks. Humanity continued to hit back and sent in probes to Turian space. However, these probes were armed with nuclear fusion warheads to make sure the Turians could never capture
we're gonna fucking nuke them aliens.
Human technology and use it against them. But humanity were struggling. Because of their venture into deep space, their resources were spread thin, and they were suffering to bring in...
Bro, we thrive on the struggle.
Any resources, especially with their enemy watching their every movement. The Turians hit them hard, wiping out a lot of their scout and patrol fleets, but humanity didn't give up and actually showed their true force as well as their bravery, most notably with the soldier known as Thaddeus Ahern. Ahern and his squad were sent to retrieve a data module, but were ambushed by a dozen Turian soldiers. Their team was not large enough to take them on, and they only had 2 turrets to help them out when defending, but amazingly, through their incredible skills and will to want to survive, Ahern and his squad managed to survive the fight and took out countless Turians in the process before being evacuated out of there. Humanity was showing their true strength against this military race that they still believed to be the Protheans, but the Turians weren't giving up. Here they broke through and invaded the human colony known as Shang-Chi, the closest colony to the mass relay.
Well, man, you gotta give it to them. At least the Locusts, they're a formidable foe.
Turians conducted an orbital siege, enabling them to be the dominant force and put them in the superior position, meaning they were able to kill all human soldiers from above. Humanity just couldn't fight back against them because their position was compromised. The human defenders were also unable to bring in any resources because of the Turian fleet and began to starve. This eventually led to General Williams.
Okay, we'll accept their surrender now. Humanity will accept their surrender. We can end this war. How about it? Shake on it.
Ashley Williams' father, to surrender the Shang-Chi garrison. He could not allow the civilians on the planet to suffer any longer. With Shang-Chi under Turian control now, it felt like a huge win in pushing back humanity. However, they now suffered a problem. Thinking they had wiped out the worst of humanity's forces, they were completely unaware that humanity's second fleet was on its way to fight back the Shang-Chi.
There's always more. There's always more of us. You can't back us into a corner, because somebody's going to jump over the wall.
Catching them completely off guard. Like the Turians had
Humans, we really like to jump over walls, don't we?
done to humanity, humanity returned the favour and starved them of their resources, taking out their trade link completely. Eventually the Turians had to give up the planet they had just captured, as like with the humans who inhabited it, they were now starving and had no resources to keep humanity off their back. Retreating from Shang-Chi, both the Turians and humanity started preparing for full-scale interplanetary war, which...
Dude, bro, they should have just surrendered. I don't get it.
Immediately drew the attention of the rest of the galaxy. The Citadel Council immediately stepped in, inviting both the Turians and the new race of humanity to negotiate a peace treaty.
This totally did happen in Mass Effect 1, didn't it?
And end the war before it got
worse. I played Mass Effect 2 way more than I played Mass Effect 1.
Humanity now realized there were more alien species out within the universe and were able to learn more about their enemy, seeing them now not as the Protheans, but the Turians. Peace was then made between two races.
Yeah, Mass Effect 1 had a whole bunch of stuff going on. Mass Effect 2 really only had one thing going on with a whole bunch of side stuff.
However, both were pretty reluctant, as there was still a lot to be settled between them, especially when it came to the ownership of Shang-Chi. Humanity would also go on to be seen in a really negative light by quite a lot of the races within the galaxy, being labelled as the aggressors. The feeling was mutual on humanity's side, however, and because of this first encounter with the Turians, it led to a lot of xenophobia amongst the Alliance public, with soldiers such as Ashley Williams despising a lot of the alien races she came into contact with. This opinion on the alien races also led the Alliance to split into separate groups that prided themselves with extreme pro-human views, such as the Terra Firma and later Cerberus.
Hey, I'm on board with that.
The Turians, however, were not let off lightly and had to pay heavily.
I don't know about those movements that he just talked about, but like, man, I'm pro-human. Fuck everybody. Team human. Human.
Their harsh response to this new species being unaware of the relay. Attacking them was an act of war, and they had no right in destroying all those ships when a peaceful resolve could have been made. After peace had been made, it took a lot of time for humanity and the Turians to make up and see eye to eye. However, as time progressed, more trade opportunities became apparent, and the two once warring species became trade partners. On top of that, technological opportunities arose, which allowed the species to work together and put their brains to work. This was seen through the construction of the SSV Normandy, for example. However, despite the war being long over, there are still strong opinions going around about humanity as well as the other races. The Batarian race, for example, whilst not being part of the Citadel, absolutely despises
Dude, they are the most Star Wars ass race in the entire Mass Effect trilogy.
Humanity for its growth throughout the system, and still actively attacks any human vessel they come across. Within the veteran ranks as well, soldiers who once fought within the First Contact War still hold harsh opinions on the race they faced, with Ahern hating any Turian he faces. But also, within the Citadel Council itself, a spectre known as Saren, a proud soldier who was believed to have fought in the war against humanity, absolutely despises them and would do anything to be rid of this oppressive species.
Well, that sounds like an idiotic move, man. You should. And the genocide's not cool. War, intergalactic war, I think that's cool. But if you're actually trying to kill all the innocent people, no, get out of here with that shit. We're all about the games.
And that is what happened during the relatively short conflict known as the First Contact War. Whilst it was a short one, it still had long-lasting effects on how the whole Mass Effect universe is shaped, and because of it triggered everything that happened within Mass Effect 1. I hope you enjoyed this video.
Damn Turians, it's their fault!
The Mass Effect universe is so beautifully written, it's hard not to immerse yourself into the small details at times. If you did like this video, please do hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already.
I'm already subscribed though. I love Mass Effect so much. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to get back into it, because I don't remember shit about the first game. I remember a lot about the second game. I remember all the characters from the second game. I don't remember any of the characters of the first game. Like, comment, subscribe! Ring the bell for all notifications.